can say is that I'm sorry. If I could do anything to prevent this, I would.
Hey guys, welcome to this video. So in this video, we're getting a little bit more information and diving a little bit deeper into the Stockton, California mass shooting of a child's birthday party where 4 were killed, 10 others were injured, and you know the reports that we're getting is that this was gang-related shooting. So, we still have to, dive deeper and make sure that those rumors and reports are really confirmed. But I mean, it obviously seems that way. Because the thing is, when it comes to gang warfare, um, no one's safe. Not even your family. If you have enemies or ops, as they like to say, they're going to try to get you, especially when you're most vulnerable. And so, they seen an opportunity where they got word that, individuals were here and doing this, and they, took it as their opportunity to go when their guard was going to be down, when they was more than likely not armed and would be able to, retaliate. And, they carried out this heinous act. And a lot of people are reading or have seen in other reaction videos saying that, they're calling for those people to turn themselves in, but they know that they're gonna get the death penalty, or spend life in prison, so they're not going to turn themselves in. They're going to have to be found. So that's going to make the job a lot tougher on, the investigators and the law enforcement that are tasked with trying to bring these individuals in for justice. And as they were, asking in the community, a lot of stuff is getting, a lot of words getting thrown around and stuff like that. But not a lot of people are going to call and give that tip or anonymously, give the whereabouts or the identification of who, these guys are, that did this, to these children. There's a lot of people who were killed were, a lot of the four, three of them were children, um, and one was 21 years old, and there was a lot of other children that were shot. And I'm gonna just let the video play, get a lot more information.
I threw a birthday party for my little daughter. She's she actually turned 2, and I just wanted all my family to come together. Everybody's getting together to gather around and just start cutting the cake, and all we heard was gunshots, and everybody just fell to the ground. It was just unexpected. I actually thought it was my balloons popping. It was gunshots, and I'm just so shocked and lost, and I'm lost of words. I'm speechless, and I just want to say I'm sorry to all the mothers out there that lost their kids at my birthday party. My sister actually got shot. My cousin got shot. My son's friend got shot. My my 3 of my friends got shot. I work with the youth.
It's crazy. I just kind of just not to judge people and stuff like that, but you could kind of look and you can see certain signs of why they're saying, okay, this is gang related. For one instance, which is right, it's staring right at you. Um, she has choke bitty on her neck, which I'm not sure what that is about, but I can only imagine. Just using my imagination, but she has choke bitty um, on her neck, and you know, a 2 year old's birthday party, man, it's just horrible. But when you're knee deep into like a gang war, um, you know, your opposition is not going to care. When they get the opportunity, they're going to take the opportunity, and that's the whole thing about being in gangs. That's something that you have to understand and know that when you're in these type of groups and situations, that these type of things can definitely happen. And it's not a matter of if they're going to happen, it's really when they're going to happen. So I do feel sorry for all the parents and anyone who was shot, anyone who lost a child. My condolences goes to them. But again, you have to know the company that you keep and the people that you associate with, and if they are people who are knee deep into the streets and knee deep into gang activity, then you can never, never, ever, ever feel comfortable around them or letting your guard down. And this is the results. Hopefully people are going to see this and it'll click into their brain that maybe this is not the life that I want to live. Maybe I don't want to always be looking over my shoulders, paranoid, can't go to a certain side of the city, and ducking shells, ducking projectiles for the rest of my life. Maybe I don't want to be that person, or walking around with tattoos and stuff on my body that's being a tribute to something that you really shouldn't be a part of in the beginning. And it's a shame that a lot of kids come up, they're born into this type of environment, so they don't know anything else other than that. They never had any type of other examples, and this is just real heavy and really the results of pretty bad culture. But I'm gonna just go ahead and let this play out. This is gonna be a pretty long one because I got several other videos I want to get to, and just try to wrap everything up that is updated within this one video.
And this is why it's really hurting me, because I see youth all day. I see kids all day. I'm a mother of 3. So for me to see kids on the floor and just bleeding and I can't help them, and I help people that I help the youth at my job, it was hurting me not to help them on the floor.
Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco, I'm Brian Hack.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. We start in Stockton, where a community is mourning after a deadly shooting at a children's birthday party. Police say the suspected shooter is still on the loose.
4 people were killed. 11 others were hurt in last night's shooting. It happened at a banquet hall. Police say most of the victims that were killed were children, the youngest being 8 years old. Stockton's mayor denounced the shooting on social media, calling it a, quote, pure act of terrorism. Brad Hamilton is live in Stockton tonight with the latest developments. Brad?
Yeah, Brian, the sheriff's office wouldn't go that far, wouldn't go as far as the mayor, but they did call this a targeted attack. They don't have any suspects just yet. No one has been arrested, but this community is grieving tonight. We saw a vigil earlier today as people remember the lives of 4 people, including 3 children that were attending a birthday party when this happened. On Lucille Avenue in Stockton, Saturday night, a rented banquet hall was filled with families celebrating a child's birthday. But just after 6 o'clock, that celebration turned into chaos.
Last night, about 5:30, we heard gunshots, probably about 20 or 30, rapid fire.
Brent Terrell lives just down the street from where investigators say the shooting happened. He says the gunfire was so fast, no one had a chance to make sense of it.
Moms, parents, relatives, everybody was kind of running around frantically trying to find their family members, and then they started pulling out people, and there was a lot of CPR going on and a lot of ambulances coming and going.
The San Joaquin Sheriff's Office confirmed the ages of the 4 victims killed: 3 children, ages 8, 9, and 14, and a young adult, 21 years old. There are 11 other victims still in the hospital, but their conditions are unknown at this time. As for the suspect or suspects, none have been arrested so far. Earlier this afternoon, the mayor of Stockton released a statement on Facebook.
Okay, before we get into the mayor's statement, and so this is the results. I mean, you went and did this shooting, but 3 of the people that are dead, they're not your ops, they're the children. There was a 21-year-old that was killed, and I'm not sure if he was in it or what, but he was there, and that was just bad enough to where he wasn't able to make it out of this situation. And from the reports of the people who from my understanding, or within the gang, there may have been some shot. I don't know. I can't really confirm that. It's just all speculation and rumors that you hear on YouTube and on social media. But the children wasn't gang banging or in the gang. It may have been some kids that may have been associated this and the third. You know, but I'm sure that wasn't really their target. They just didn't have any type of disregard for those children, and that's the reason why they are deceased. So it's a very very shame, man. Very very cowardly. But again, within that culture, they have their own set of rules that they renege on all the time. Because if it was, on the other end, of course, they would feel the same way as far as, man, they came and did this at a children's party. And my thing is, at what point, um, do leadership within the gang kind of, you know, get like I'm sure they have kids as well. So it's just like, at what point do they say, well, because from my understanding, it used to be that, um, women and children was, they were off limits. Women and kids were off limits my understanding of at one point in gang life. So now we've gotten to the point to where nobody is off limits, and that's very very dangerous. That's very dangerous because if there's any type of retaliation or anything from this, it could not only hurt, the members that's actively participating within the gang, but now your family can become targets. And it's sad to say, but it's just the reality of the situation. That's why it's never good to be in gangs. It's never good to get into violence against others and of this nature, because it's just never ending. You done killed my kid. You done killed, my loved one. You done shot up my loved ones, shot up my kids. And now I feel a certain kind of way. Now I want to go do something. And, that would really be for anyone. Not necessarily just because they're in the gang. But you see how, you know, even with that thought process, it's just like, it's eye for an eye, one for one. You hit mine, I'm gonna go hit yours. And again, to prevent stuff like that, it used to be, you know, the people that they were going for, and people that were not really involved, or if it was like, a children's birthday, or if kids was around, you know, women and stuff like that, they wouldn't have done this. So just let me know that the individuals who did this was very young, didn't have any morals, didn't even have any type of, real guidance, and they're just men behind guns, honestly. Um, brainless men at that, behind guns. But I'm gonna just let the video finish here.
Saying, quote, gang violence exists in cities across the country, but this act was a pure act of terrorism, a complete cowardly terrorist act. Public Information Officer Heather Brent says they're being deliberate about what they release, not wanting to jeopardize their work identifying who opened fire.
We do not want our community to think that they are at danger. We do not believe that they are. We believe that this is a targeted incident.
But for neighbors, what they saw was terrifying regardless of motive. A second witness, who asked to remain anonymous, arrived as families were running towards the building, trying to find their kids.
When I was passing, there was like family members getting to the scene, asking, where are my kids? Like, kids just started running out. We're missing them. Where are they? Do you guys know anything?
He told us, whatever the dispute may have been, children should never be caught in the middle.
I don't know, even if it's between neighborhoods, you don't come to a kid's party. Do this, They got their way of selling stuff, but not a kid's party.
And for Terrell, a lifelong resident, what he saw last night has him rethinking everything.
I lived here my whole life. It makes you second guess where you're at, makes you kind of wonder where you're going and what the future is going to bring. Scary.
Tonight.
So yeah, as you hear, things like this, can not only, affect those that's involved, but people that aren't even involved, they get the second guessing where they're living, where, they work, where they pay their taxes, where, they raise their kids. They get the second guessing that. And, when places become so dangerous to where the quality of life goes down, then people are more inclined to move, more, more inclined to get up out of there. So, it has a trickle down effect all over the place, not just with the individuals that's involved. So, it's good that they put that clip in there of him saying that, because that just gives you an example of where people's minds are at. When they're not involved and they see these things happening, they don't want their children to be one of the ones that are getting shot, or just, being innocent bystanders and things like this happen to them. So, very, very unfortunate. Let me see if I can go to another clip here.
The first time we are now seeing a picture of one of the victims killed, 21-year-old Susano Archuleta. Today, his family held a service to remember him. And here is what we know right now. As we mentioned, 4 people killed, 11 others shot. Among the dead are 3 children, ages 8, 9, and 14. In addition to the 21-year-old. Stockton Mayor Christina Fugazi also said the 8-year-old was a student at Stockton Unified, and also said she has reached out to the White House and the Department of Justice about helping combating crime in her city. The sheriff's office has determined the shooting.
She should have been done that, because, they have good gang intel. They know when things are reaching a boiling point, or when things are starting to heat up. They know. They just want to feel like they can handle it within their own city. Don't need the help of, the DOJ or the administration in the White House. But, this is why, if you see the signs that you need help, you don't have the resources, and you got to call on those resources, in order to try to mitigate what's going on. And again, a 2 years old birthday party, man. This is just crazy. Like, those individuals, man, if they haven't off themselves, or if they went there and did this just on a whim, and the leadership of whatever gang they belong to doesn't do anything to them first, if they get caught, man, they're never gonna see the light of day again at all. Never. But this is such a big news story, and it's even reached all the way across, the country to the east, to the south, my side. So it's just like, this is such a huge story, and now you get more details, and you get to realizing, like, man, these guys had no regard for human life at all. Let me see what else I can, because I got a couple more videos. It's gonna be a pretty long video here.
Was targeted and was not random. Your reporter Tori Apodaca is at the scene and spoke to a family of the 21-year-old killed in this mass shooting. Tori.
Steve, the mood out here is just somber in Stockton. Over my left shoulder, you can see bullet holes in the building that was hit with gunfire, and over my right, that growing memorial for the victims in this. Like you mentioned, I did speak with the aunt of the 21-year-old victim, who showed up to a prayer vigil today, searching for peace in the midst of this chaos.
Mothers that are weeping this day for children whose lives.
Of course, they're going to, have visuals and stuff like that for the victims. Let's see. I got a video of the father.
Now, the suspect or suspects still on the run. The FBI offering $50,000 for an arrest, and that's on top of the $25,000 already offered by Crime Stoppers, Stockton Mayor Christina Fugazi and Councilwoman Mariela Ponce. Now, within the last few hours, we've also learned the others who were wounded, ranging in age from 8 to 35.
So we have your reporters covering every angle of this mass shooting, including calls from the Stockton mayor for asking for federal resources to fight gang violence. But first, we're hearing from the family of that 14-year-old victim killed in this shooting.
So awful. It's an interview you'll see only on CBS 13. Your reporter Tori Apodaca sat down with that family for an emotional interview, as you can imagine, that may be hard for some viewers to hear. Tori.
Dominic Marley, it truly was a chilling conversation. That family is not from Stockton, but they traveled here for a child's birthday party. What started as an innocent celebration turned into a massacre. The father of 14-year-old Amari Peterson says that his son was really looking forward to meeting one of the rappers who was at this party. He says that his son was just about to shake hands with one of them when the bullets went flying. Their pain is still very raw, and we want to warn you that it may be hard to hear.
Okay, so as you just heard, you got to take all these little context clues and just start piecing it together. So, 14-year-old kid wasn't from Stockton, but, was going to the birthday party, excited to see the rapper. And from what they're saying, let's see here. It could have been the rapper they're calling MB Neil. I'm not too familiar with them at all. I'm not gonna lie. I love rap and hip hop. I'm not familiar with MB Neil. I've seen some clips of where he was on No Jumper. Of course, it's a popular online like podcast to where they interview gang members and stuff like that who are within hip hop. And so he's had several interviews, and of course within this area, he may be super popular. That's not, it's not out of the figment of imagination, because California is such a large state that you can be well known in California, have a following and stuff like that, and it just hasn't reached over here to my side of the country. Even with the internet. So again, I'm not too familiar with MB Neil at all, but apparently he was a rapper that they were saying that was in attendance. So this could be the rapper that the 14-year-old kid was excited to meet. And unfortunately, meeting his favorite rapper ended up in his demise. That's sad to say. But this is the reaction from his family. That said the father of him. So we'll get more information here.
Some of these details.
I have an image of my son dying in my head over and over and over and over. Then him smiling, then him walking away, then him smiling, then he coming. Like, I just keep seeing my son in my head.
It's painful images Patrick Peterson is now stuck replaying of his 14-year-old son, Amari, who was shot to death while at a child's birthday party.
His nickname was Ferrari Mari. That was my nickname for him.
Ferrari Mari. He was fast.
Yeah, he was really fast.
Images unlike the hundreds he has of Amari smiling, hung on the walls of his home.
Oh my God, he took my baby.
Countless memories he's now holding close.
Maybe I should have just dove in front of the bullets and maybe he'll still be alive.
When bullets started flying, Peterson says it felt unreal. He grabbed his baby girl to duck behind a kitchen counter and then rushed to Amari when he saw he was down.
I'm on top of Amari. I'm trying to grab him. I'm like trying to see where he's hit, because he's just sitting there just going... And I'm just like, man, I'm like, where you hit at? Where you hit at?
He discovered a bullet hole the size of a nickel on Amari's chest. Despite being rushed to the hospital in life-saving efforts, Amari didn't make it, leaving Peterson, his wife, and other children who were there too, heartbroken.
Now, what do you say to a parent in this situation? They have, the kids there. They go to grab one kid and duck behind something so they're not shot, and then their 14-year-old is shot, and then they're trying to do life-saving measures to try to save their child. Like, they're watching their child take their last breaths. Man, no parent should have to experience that or go through that. It's very, very heartbreaking, and my condolences to him and the rest of his family. Yeah, man, my heart goes out to him, man, because like he said, he's replaying this over and over and over in his head of his 14-year-old, dying. And that's not the vision that, a parent should ever have of their child. Not in the slightest bit. And he named him Ferrari Mari. He said he was pretty fast. You could see that, his son played football, so you know he had a promising future. It looks like, and for it to be cut short over, you know, gang violence is, you know, that's why you know it's good to denounce this type of stuff, man, and try to figure out a way to get out of this type of stuff because ain't no good gonna ever come out of it. These is the results. You know, you bring that type of energy and you bring that type of drama to people who have nothing to do with what's going on. You know, these folks are not in from that area. They came to that area to go to the birthday party, and they had to leave without their son. Now they have to go on with life without their son that was not from that area. You know, this guy doesn't look like he was involved at all in any type of mess like that. He looks like a family man who loved his children, loved them enough to protect one, but he couldn't get to the other to protect him. And as he's saying, now he has regrets. Now he wishing, or he's thinking like, I should have dove in front of the bullets. Just because, you know, if he would have dove in front of the bullet, don't mean that the bullet wouldn't have went through him and still got to his son. So, you know, it's just real sad. And again, you know, I pray for all these families, and you know, especially ones, you know, who lost a loved one, and also the ones who have to be there to assist their loved ones with recovery from being shot. It's horrible. I'm gonna let this finish out.
My daughter, she got hit. I could have lost her, you know, and she it's gonna change her for life. My son, it's gonna change him for life.
Peterson says he lost the boy who made him the man he is today.
I was his coach.
Building Amari a life that he never had.
He got straight A's. He was a good student. He was a good team player. He was athletic.
Do you have any?
You know, and it was saying his daughter got hit. Crazy. That's just like, dang, like and he was a coach to his son. So you know, and then it was saying there was another son as well. So like I said, this guy seemed like a family man. You know, like, and he's not scared to come on camera. That's letting me know he's not involved in any type of gang or anything like that, because most of the time those folks are trying to be in the shadows. They're not trying to bring too much attention to themselves and stuff like that. Man, this is a grieving father. And you know, man, this is just heavy.
Any words for whoever is responsible for all of this?
So if you have enough sense to pick up a gun and aim and shoot it, you got enough sense to take your responsibility of your actions.
A senseless act that left 2 other children and a 21-year-old dead.
This was one of the shoes that he had on the night, and his blood is on there.
And a father searching for peace with parting words to his golden boy.
And Daddy is sorry, and Daddy love you, and Daddy miss you.
You can't ask
Daddy ain't gonna never be ready without you.
Yeah, that's very, very heartbreaking. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just like close this video out. Because you know, I played the reaction from like the mother who threw the birthday party. And like I said, a lot of these dots are going to connect in some way or another. And you know, the more stories come out, you know, a lot of dots are going to connect, and you'll start, you know, getting information as far as who was connected to who, and you know, who was the mother, who was the father, the 2-year-old that had the birthday party. We seen the mother, but you know, find out who the father is, and a lot of this stuff is just start to, you know, make a lot more sense as time goes on. And man, it's just very, very unfortunate. You know, guys, if you know anybody that's like in gangs, like Cali might be too far gone, but it's other parts of the world who are influenced by this type of culture, man. And you know, if you know anybody that's in this type of thing, young people, you know, older folks, man, you more than likely not going to convince them or anything. But you got the youth that you can try to convince and try to put, you know, this type of story in front of them and let them know that, you know, they're not no different than anybody else, and things like this can happen to them the same way it happened in this situation. And you got to think of others, like your loved ones, and the ramifications of your actions, and how being a part of certain set or a certain gang can fall back on the family more so than it falls back on them. Because there could have been certain members that were shot, but the the intent seems like that the people that came to do the shooting was looking to kill those opposition or those people that was in the opposite gang of them. And if you look, like they were using some high powered weaponry, man. Cause like this looks like a garage, and then there is another little clip a little bit ahead of like the bullets going through like thick wood of the door. It's just like you know people inside had really no chance at all. Didn't see it coming. Came out of just complete surprise. So yeah, my prayers up for everybody that's involved, and we'll keep our eyes and ears open to the situation and bring reactions once we get more updates. Yo, I know this was a pretty long video, but I kind of didn't want to break the video down into different parts. Of course, the short is gonna be about like under 3 minutes to this video, but I wanted to bring a nice long form video of this situation because it's it's getting national attention. So there's a lot of different news outlets that's reporting on it. A lot of information that's being released and stuff like that. So we'll keep you updated, and I appreciate everyone who subscribed to my channel. Again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Justin Paul. Peace.